four different phases that we look at as projects. The first one is a business process improvement, and the second one is technology selection. So those will be the two that we focus on projects that are in each of those phases today. In the business process improvement, there are 5 different kind of buckets of work. The first one is around getting organized. The second one's around mapping out and making sure we have a clear understanding of the future state. Next comes visioning and education, which is all around, imagining what's possible, what the future looks like. And that leads into developing the future state and eventually getting to that business case for change for what is the drivers and where will we see the return on our investment for our project. All right, so Kyle, if you just give us a brief overview of the project, the type of company it is, and how you guys are going about it.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Appreciate it. Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm going to spend a little bit of time reviewing with you a complex project that I'm working on, what exactly we've been working to be successful remotely, and exactly what type of standards we put in place in order to really find success in a virtual remote environment. The project that I'm overseeing right now, as I said, is extremely complex, over a $1 billion revenue organization. A lot of employees spread across North America, both in the United States and in Canada, with 30 independent manufacturing plants and a number of distinctive processes that we've identified as a team. This project has a wide range of products, has a wide range of personalities, a wide range of approaches, and understanding for exactly how we should proceed in being successful at this organization. And I'm going to be talking through a little bit more about exactly what we did to be successful. We have 250 total team members. We have 9 unique work streams, which I think Rich and Danielle spoke a little bit about previously. Amongst those work streams, we have a number of unique participants. We have 3 different governing teams, such as our steering team, our executive team, and our operational team, a number of diverse subject matter experts, and 3 independent consulting teams, including Ultra, that are there on site. So obviously a lot of moving parts, a lot of people wearing multiple hats, and it creates a lot of churn, a lot of difficulty in success moving forward.
So now let's talk a little bit about the tools that have allowed you to keep this project going at pretty much the same speed that it was going before.
Absolutely, and the key to this whole thing, and I can't emphasize this enough, is your communication strategy. You can have a number of tools that you might utilize in order to be successful. Microsoft SharePoint and Microsoft Teams are 2 tools that we utilize quite extensively. Email and phone is something that we utilize extensively as well. But our communication strategy is absolutely pivotal. Understanding who you should speak to at what time and in what context. Bringing people together for an understanding of what we need to accomplish moving forward, but also extremely importantly, bringing people together from a change management perspective. There's a saying that the technology doesn't talk back, the people talk back, and that oftentimes is a very challenging scenario. So having a very succinct communication strategy, having understanding for who are the decision makers in the organization, who's accountable, and who simply needs to be informed at the organization is absolutely crucial in ensuring that you'll be successful, both in a virtual environment and in person.
So you guys are pretty much right in the midst of the business process improvement project. Can you talk a little bit about some of the stuff that's been easier to do virtually and maybe some of the activities that are a little bit more challenging to do virtually and how you've gone about those?
Absolutely. And I like this depiction of this process flow because it really puts in perspective the number of crucial touch points that you have as you move through completing project activities. So you'll see from the blue boxes here, those are joint meetings that we held together with the client. The blue and red boxes are Ultra that did work and then the client validating, but again, another touch point. The red boxes are really the only boxes where we've done work independently, where we're not touching base with the client. So how do you do that? How exactly do you come together as a team and as a group in a virtual environment and do it in a successful fashion? And I think again that just goes back to communication, ensuring that you're planning well and that you're over communicating exactly what needs to be accomplished. How are you going to accomplish that? And everyone is very confident in the plan that you have moving forward.
So what are some of the lessons learned? I mean, it's obviously a very complex project. What are some of the key things in the future that you've learned throughout this process?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of those, but I called out some things that I think sometimes are overlooked. Some things that I think are absolutely paramount to our success and what we've done at that organization so far. Over communicating, which I've talked about already, but investing in reliable technology, ensuring that you are able to communicate, both from the audio and the visual perspective, ensuring that you're testing your functionality out before you jump into these meetings. I think that's absolutely paramount. Knowing your colleagues, I think that's something that's often overlooked because you really need to understand who your colleagues are. And by that, I mean, are they one to show up on time? Are they one to be late? Understanding exactly what types of behaviors that they engage in will lead you to better outcomes when moving forward, with your different meetings and with your different touch points with that client.
So how do you assign work in the virtual environment? How do you know that stuff's done? Like, how do you keep tabs of stuff given all these like remote workers?
So, I mean, I think there's a number of ways to do that. I personally like utilizing SharePoint a lot. There's a lot of functionality with SharePoint that can produce great outcomes there. I think that, one way that we use SharePoint is, we tag our different deliverables. We'll tag them with different tags such as, are they a work in process? Are they complete? Have they been approved? Have they been signed off? Additionally, we will log action items in SharePoint as well. We'll assign those action items to different individuals with dates assigned to those action items. So that's extremely important, I feel, in getting the work done. And then just having a very robust project plan, ensuring that you have a really sound source of truth, single source of truth for what you're driving towards. Obviously, that might not be practical to review all the time with the team, but having something there in the background, some structure that you can take to then break down into small pieces and help people understand exactly what is expected of them, both in the short term, near term, and then, what are our milestones, what are our end goals?
So that's interesting. So you're taking kind of like shell documents, putting them out in SharePoint, and then basically kind of assigning work into those shell documents, and then you're kind of controlling the completion state of the document and sign-offs through SharePoint, right? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, yes, exactly. There's a number of tools that you can use. They can be effective depending on what organization you're at, the culture of that organization, how people respond to different communication based on the tools. But you want to make sure that you're not, overutilizing your tools. You want to make sure that you're not, your tools aren't becoming a burden to you. You want to ensure that, these tools they're empowering you to make actionable, intelligent decisions, and delegate effectively and delegate to the right individuals.
Okay, I have one more question, which is there like an optimal size that you found, right? Because this is a large team that you're working with. Can you effectively bring like 40 people onto a call and collaborate, or how do you handle all these people in these big teams?
Yeah, knowing your audience and knowing what's going to be effective or not effective is extremely critical. That's one of the reasons why we have so many sub teams broken apart. We'll have an operational team, a steering team. We'll have a team specific with finance. We have work stream leads for all of our 9 work streams and people assigned specifically to those work streams. So it's just understanding, when you're going through these various levels of approval, bringing all 40 people into a session to try to make decisions is almost always going to lead to struggles and probably not going to give you the result that you want. So you want to make sure that, when you're making decisions and putting information in front of the client to make actionable decisions, that you're bringing the right personnel in and you're bringing the right decision makers in first, and then communicating that decision then to the larger group, I think, afterwards.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. Any last minute words before we hand it over to Shannon to do her overview?
The last thing I want to leave you guys with is, ensure, I think it's often overlooked in a virtual environment to know when to log in and log out. Ensure that you're taking time for yourself, for self-care, and ensure that you really have a good work-life balance, which I know can be extremely challenging. But just put effort into that. And thank you all. Appreciate it.